Hello everybody, welcome into another lesson. So today we are going to use trigonometry to find the area of a triangle. So up through previous courses, like especially in geometry and even a little bit up to here, we've only dealt with finding areas of right triangles, or if they weren't right triangles, we had to draw an altitude and make it a right triangle to figure out the base and the height and all that. Well, trigonometry enables you to find the area of a triangle if you have two sides and an included angle. So a side angle side triangle, you can find the area of the triangle. So you have the area equals 1/2 of side AB times the sine of C, or the area equals 1/2 times side AC times the sine of B, or the area equals 1/2 times sides BC times sine of A. It really depends on which sides and which angles you're given. But this only works for side angle side triangles. So let's get started on some examples here. So what are we given? We got angle B is 25 degrees. We got side A is 17. And then we have side C is 33. So we have two sides and an included angle. So the area is going to equal 1/2 times one side, which is 33, times the other side, which is 17, times the sine of that included angle, which is 25 degrees. So then we can just get an approximation to two decimal places. We'll have the area of the triangle. You would get approximately 118.54 square units. So the area of this triangle is approximately 118.54 square units. So as you see, this is actually a pretty simple formula to work with. It honestly is. It's a pretty simple formula. Let's see what we got next. So angle C is 130 degrees. Side A has a length of 21. And then side B has a length of 17. So again, we have two sides and an included angle. Well, the area is going to equal 1/2 of your first side, which is 17, times your second side, which is 21, times the sine of that included angle of 130 degrees. And now we can work on getting a two decimal place approximation for that area. You get, let's see, then we got to divide that by 2. You get about 136.74. So the area of this particular triangle is approximately equal to 136.74 square units. Alright, let's see what we got next here. Angle C is 120 degrees. Side A is 8. Side B is 5. Alright, so we have to find the area, so we will take then, of course, 1/2 times the sine, sorry, not sine just yet, 1/2 times the first length of 5 times the second length of 8 times that sine of 120 degrees. And then we can get a 2 decimal place approximation. And you get an area of approximately 17.32 square units. So the area of this triangle is approximately 17.32 square units. Alright, let's see. We're given angle A is 85 degrees. We're given side B is 11. What was side C? 18. Alright, so again we have two sides in an included angle, so we can find the area. So the area would equal 1/2 of, let's see, 18 times 11 times that sine of 85 degrees. And now we can get a 2 decimal place approximation for this. Which would give you an area of approximately 98.62 square units. So the area of this triangle is approximately 98.62 square units. I have about 6 more. So angle A this time is 75 degrees. Side B has a length of 16. Side C has a length of 21. Alright, so we could find the area. That's going to be equal to 1/2 of 21 times 16 times that sine of 75 degrees. So now we can get a 2 decimal place approximation for the area. And you get about 162.28. So the area of this triangle is approximately 162.28 square units. All right. Let's see, we have angle B is 110 degrees. Side A is 11. Side C is 24. Alright, so the area in this case would equal 1/2 of that 24 times that 11 times the sine of 110 degrees. And then we can get a 2 decimal place approximation for the area. Which would be about 124.04. So the area of this triangle is approximately 124.04 square units. All right, 4 more. So let's see, C is 125 degrees, A is 3, B is 8. All right, so let's find the area here. So the area is going to equal 1/2 times that 8 times that 3 times the sine of 125 degrees. Now let's get our approximation for the area. You get about 9.83. So the area of this triangle would be approximately 9.83 square units. All right, 3 more. So B has an angle measure of 29 degrees. A is 13. And C is also 13. So let's go ahead and find the area. That's going to equal, of course, 1/2 times 13 times 13 times that sine of 29 degrees. So let's see what we get to 2 decimal places. You get an area of approximately 40.97 square units. So the area of this triangle would be approximately 40.97 square units. All right. 2 more. So we have B has a measure of 96 degrees. A is 15. And C is 9. All right, so the area is going to equal 1/2 of this, let's not do that yet, times 9 times 15 times the sine of 96 degrees. So let's see what we get for our approximation. You get about 67.13 square units. So the area of this particular triangle would have an area of approximately 67.13 square units. I got one more. Alright, so what do we have here? Angle A is 32 degrees. Side B has a length of 10. Side C has a length of 12. So the area is going to equal 1/2 of that 12 times that 10 times the sine of 32 degrees. So let's see what we get for our approximations. You get about 31.80. So the area of this triangle is approximately 31.80 square units. So as you see, this formula is actually quite simple to work with, as long as you have two sides and the included angle between them. Otherwise, the formula just won't work. At least not directly. Then you would have to go ahead and apply the law of sines to try to find all your other missing information to use the formula, which would really be a pain in the neck. But next lesson, we're going to get into the law of cosines. So I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.